Hi Neil.
Hey Precious,
Happy
how are
New
you?
Week. I'm
Happy
good.
New Week.
Yeah, it's another
I
week.
notice I notice you're wearing jersey. Are you is something happening to Manchester United?
No, so I this is a Liverpool jersey, but
Oh, Liverpool.
yesterday
Okay, sorry. My lack of
Chelsea
knowledge
won
is
a
showing up.
trophy. Yeah,
Oh, they
Chelsea won
won?
a trophy. Yeah, in the
Okay,
United
okay.
States, in New York, yesterday.
Oh, oh really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people
See,
had
that's the
party
weird
also.
about this. I didn't even know that game was going on. There was no
Yeah,
news.
Americans don't watch a lot
How
of
how
football.
how come they played here? Well, is there that's an European league team, right?
So yeah, is hosting the
That's right.
next year. So they play what they call sort of a pre-World Cup clubs all over the world from all the continents. They come to the country that will play in the World Cup and they play like a
Ah,
pre-tournament a year before. So yesterday was the finals and Chelsea won and they won. It was a very big game because their opponent was a very strong team and they won with a three
hmm.
goals, which is very massive. People were throwing people partied all through the night yesterday because Chelsea won.
Oh, wow,
They are
wow,
very
that's
popular here.
amazing.
So
Well, congrats to all Chelsea fans.
yeah, if you're a
Um,
Chelsea fan, we
yeah.
I'm not your fellow fan, but yeah, congratulations. So
All
yeah,
right, what's happening
so
in AI this week or last week? What happened?
I mean every week is like there's a new level.
Yeah,
Every week there's a new
totally.
level to what's going on, right? So this week we'll be covering story from Google. Google released like I think it's like a side project because some guys they released this open source project that helps people to build better agents. We'll be talking about
Yeah.
Firehose, a live research. We'll be talking about Grok. And then also we'll be talking about those poaching because as you know, it's Windsoft was supposed to go to
Windsurf.
OpenAI.
I was wondering whether we're going to cover that story. That's cool. That's cool. All right, let's
Yeah,
dive in then. So
yeah,
I see my first story in here. So this one is very interesting. As I'm getting ready to sort of do this 30 days 30 AI agent challenge. I know maybe I
yeah,
should not talk about this. We haven't announced this yet, but I'm trying to figure out what's going to be my tool set, right, to building all this stuff. So this one is very interesting. So Google AI, for
yeah.
some reason, they're calling it Gen AI in box or something. Some name was very weird. Anyway, this they open source an MCP toolbox server that lets any AI agent essentially query databases safely. I mean relational databases. So before this, what you have to do is, let's say you're building an AI agent, you need to access Postgres or Oracle or what have you. For each one of these, you probably have to build a separate connector or even MCP server. Now, this is like an one MCP server to rule them all sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this has built-in support for, I mean, all the popular databases out there. So one MCP server, all you need. And the thing that I really liked about this project, and let me share this tool. It's called Gen AI Toolbox. I'm definitely going to be adding this to my toolbox in here. Where is the? How do you do comments again? Okay, found it. Yeah. So this allows any AI agent to sort of talk to any relational database, and it handles all the hard stuff for you. So connection pooling, auth to OIDC, observability. It has support for open telemetry, so everything out of the box. So that sort of helps you to build faster agent, even safer agent for enterprises.
Just the to tie it back to our conversation last week on context API, does this sort of like improve on that concept of concept API, or is it almost like something different from that?
It's a bit different. It's just, I mean, just another MCP server, I guess.
Yeah,
But the benefit of this is that this creates a nice abstraction layer. So it's almost like, I don't know whether you have worked before. If you build a Java had this kind of sort of standard for connecting with databases called JDBC. So think
yeah.
of this as a JDBC for AI agents. So one MCP server that can talk to all relational databases.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think the catch here is that it is for relational database, but databases.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's what I read. I mean, it's but there is sort of support for, I mean, and I could be completely wrong, and I took it as a query for databases, but looking at my notes, I see this actually also supports Neo4j graph big table. So it's actually also supports NoSQL databases. So any
Oh,
database.
oh, so sort of like any database.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I liked
that's
it because it has this configuration file where you can put all the credentials. The big thing about connecting with the MCP server, and this is sort of state management, right? So
yeah.
anytime you make a connection, you have to make sure the connection is closed before you reply back. Otherwise, you're going to have a memory leak. So it sort of takes care of all this orchestration for you so that you can focus on
Oh,
solving business problem.
yeah. I think memory and all these orchestrations, they're very important. They're very important
Yeah, and
for.
it's some of the hard stuff to build. So I'm
Yeah.
glad they did it for us.
Yeah, I mean, wrappers upon wrappers. I think that's the interesting one of the interesting things about technology, and then about
Yeah.
the tech space, right? Once there's a
Right.
new thing
Right.
out, people start building, wrappers. The days there we used to have, what's it called? Frameworks keep
Yeah.
coming up where they model everything, and you
Frameworks.
just have to do
Right.
npm install this, and then you just go on and
Yeah.
build your stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the first story today on my end is the, should I say, the biggest story of last week, which is Grok 4.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
little before Grok 4, a few things happened. I don't know if you guys follow the story on social media. So one of the, I think the CEO of XAI resigned. She stepped down, sort of, right? And then a day later, we started seeing Grok misbehaving on Twitter. It misbehaved to the point that they had to take it down. Right? So when you ask the question, is he says stuff like, "Oh, let's see what Elon thinks about this," or he says start saying stuff about Israel or
Mhm.
Hitler. So it was so bad that they had to
Yeah,
take it
so
down.
I should post this. Simon has done a really good job of this. I thought that was fascinating, and
Yeah,
most of this will. I think he discovered the system prompt for this also. So Grok, when you ask, just to clarify everyone here, whenever you ask a very controversial question to Grok for, I don't know whether it fixed it or not. Part of the thinking process, it sort of goes into and say, let me see what Elon thinks about this, and looks for Elon's latest tweets.
yeah,
Clearly, sort of raise lots of red alarms and red flags because this is
yeah.
sort of founder bias, right?
Yeah. Very serious bias. So, but then Grok 4 is live. Everybody has been talking about how it is the next big thing and how it is better than OpenAI O3 model. And actually, I've
Have
seen
you
it. I
used
watched.
it?
No, I haven't, but I watched a lot of reviews. I watched like 4 reviews this morning, and they are all
Mhm.
saying that, oh, it is the best thing. Oh, um, everybody is saying they are good. And then also, they they ran this test, this human test sort of thingy on it, and then
Mm.
it passed. It passed. I think one of the hardest mathematics for,
Oh, human.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So it. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I
So
see.
that's why Elon Musk made the statements are saying that it is more intelligent than the most brilliant graduates, most brilliant human graduates ever. So
Mm.
it has been
Oh,
out,
yeah, I did.
and
I did
then
see that post. Yeah. Hmm.
if you
So I
want to
just
check
looked
it
at the
out,
price really quick here. It's not free for Grok 4. You have to subscribe. So sort of upgrade. It's $30
yes.
per
So
month.
they have. I know I didn't capture that in my notes, but they have two types of model. I think the 30 bucks and the 300 bucks. I can't remember. I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
on the 300 box plan, it's I saw something very interesting. So when you ask the question, or when you give it like a data analysis task or something,
Hmm.
what it does is that it spins up like four engine inside XA inside Grok 4, right? And then the four
Hmm.
of them goes to solve that task using their own different abilities. And the four of
Hmm.
them come together to determine what solution is the best, and that solution is what they will give you. But then while all this thing is happening, you get to see them work on your screen
Interesting.
in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting things going there. Also, they have about 256,000 token context window. And then, yeah, they said it is the best model. Everybody's saying they are the best. It is the best model for text vision. And then, of course, they integrate a lot of things. So
So
yeah, it
last
was
week
a
we
very
talked
big
about
news.
context programming. So the larger context is probably always not the good thing. Remember?
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
so
All
yeah.
right, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I do like to try, but the problem is that how many places should I subscribe to? But that sounds very interesting. Maybe someday. All
I
right, so the
have a
next one I
story.
got.
I don't know if I have it here. I don't know if
Mm,
if I'm covering that story here. Okay, yeah, I think I am. I think
go
I
ahead.
am. Yeah. So the story is about, maybe I should just do it. So there's these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
called Sakana AI 3 Quests, right? So
Okay.
now they say is a Tokyo based open source and guys. So they are running this LLM model, but this is what they are doing. Let me explain it in layman terms, right? So what they are
Mm,
doing is that they are bringing all these models together. So if I
mm.
pay for their service, for example, if I pay for their service, I get to access all the models in one place.
Oh, I've seen some
Now,
of the services
there,
popping up.
there are other services that provide this, but the ones I've used, there is one that I've used. I get to choose the one I want to use inside their
Oh,
platform.
okay.
So I get to say, oh,
Okay.
do I want to use Perplexity? Do I want to use this? But now, how this works, why this is different is that number one, it's open source. Number two, when you give it a task, it
Mm,
determines what model is going to run with. What model
mm.
is the best to solve this particular task? So that way, I get to pay only once. I get to pay on one platform,
Yeah, drop the
and
link, man. That sounds like a really cool service.
yeah, I will drop
I
the
I
link.
have questions though. I'm curious how they decide which model to use. I think Open
Yeah,
Router
I mean,
also does something similar, but that's fascinating.
yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting. So,
All right,
guys,
so
if
the
you want
next
to
one
check
I
it out,
got.
I'm dropping the link in the
Yeah,
chats.
yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
So,
right, should I
the
move
link is
to
in the
next
chats.
story?
Yeah, next story.
Okay, all right, cool. Um, so next one I have is sort of this story we should have covered next week, but I mean, this is happening as we speak. So there is an
Yeah,
international conference of machine learning. We try to balance the content based on some cutting edge research and product news and developer focus.
yeah,
So there is a conference. This is about cutting edge research, what's happening with machine learning and LLM. So there is a conference going on right now as we speak in Vancouver. It's called the International Conference on Machine Learning. So they obviously handpick few paper from submissions and they've shared that the papers that got selected. Out of that, one of the paper I thought was really interesting because it ties to directly to software engineering. It's called Microsoft's Collab LLM, which essentially turning chatbots into active pair programmers. That This was a very catchy term that was obviously titled that got my attention. What it essentially means is that if you uh, when you work with GitHub Copilot or anything in sort of ask mode, not agentic mode, ask mode is sort of replying back to your questions, right? You're asking questions. You're probably exploring or brainstorming something, right? It's just most of the time the chatbots are fine tuned to respond to your immediate question that you ask, right? It will just
yeah,
answers, and based on that answer, they rate. That's the sort of the reinforcement learning. So what Collab LLM doing is that in that scenario, that's just a passive listener, right? The chatbot is listening to your questions and replying back with say, yes, that's correct. Maybe you should think about this. So what they're doing in this paper is turning that into sort of active conversations. So what Collab LLM does, and I thought was a fascinating architecture, is that when you ask question, it sort of spawns up simulation to saying, okay, based on this question, what are the possible ways this conversation is going to go in the future, right? And it starts mapping that out. Okay, I will respond this. What will user say this? So in simulation, it's actually fast forwarding your conversations to figure out that how fast I can reach the end point. Is that making sense so far? Right, taking your
yeah,
conversation and running a multiple variations of simulations on it, and what they call this is a multi-turn award reward. So it's a very different way to rewarding the system. And the goal of this simulation is to figure out how quickly you can get to that answer. Okay.
Hmm.
When you do
Yeah.
turn by turn chat, you don't know when you'll reach the answer. But with the simulation, it's figuring out, okay, user is asking this. If I fast forward this conversation in this way, I might reach to the end result very quickly. And it comes back to that. So why this is matters? Because they have run some experiments on humans, which says that most of the humans who are very satisfied, the users are very satisfied because they're quickly getting into the higher quality output and faster results.
Hmm.
And the beauty of this is that the performance also increases because now it's actively exploring the solution space for you. Um, so it's almost like think of this collab LLM as almost LLM is sort of doing forward thinking coaching for you. So it's actually going ahead of you, exploring the solution before you sort of get there.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fascinating stuff. I mean, their reward system is obviously very different. It's called multi-turn aware reward. So I'll post the paper in here so you guys can check
Yeah,
it out.
I think we need to see and check it out. That's a very interesting one. And then also seeing, you know, people responses to the experiments saying that is good is also a very interesting one because I mean
Yeah.
it's crazy the ability that what AI can do these days. There's a report. I don't think it's part of the stories that we are covering today, but a couple gave birth from using AI last week, so they were
I
able to
really
con.
fascinated. So this is almost like GPS, right? I mean, it's I need to go here, and it just explores multiple ways to get to the destination and
Yeah,
proposes the optimal path for you
optimal path
before
for
even
you. Yeah.
you. And typical our interaction has been very turn by turn. Okay, I'm going to reach this point. Should I take turn left or right? This is how we have chat conversations now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what
Yeah.
Collab LLM can do? Wait a minute, you want to go here? Let me propose you a better path to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Makes a
So
lot of
that's
sense. A lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I think it's a huge one. It's a huge one, really. So, the next story I have here is a story from Perplexity AI. So I guess
Mm,
everybody here already knows what's going on. You already know what's up. So they launched Comment, Perplexity's Comment. So it's an AI browser.
Comet.
Now,
Right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Comment. Yeah. So it's an AI browser. And then it's like, first of all, it's a fork of Chrome. So it's almost like Chrome browser, right? And then once you install comments, Perplexity comments, you just have to import your Chrome. So you don't even need to do anything, just import your Chrome. All your history, everything just comes in. Now that is where the magic starts. So the magic is this: it's it's your browser, but then it's also an AI agent. So it's like a workspace for AI agents. Now, Nilanjan, I don't know if you know how our BizDev agent, which is on Chrome Store right now, by the way, guys, if you want to install it, if you're a freelancer, you should check out our BizDev agent. It is the best AI agent you can use for freelancing. You should check it out.
Mm.
So, you know the way our BizDev agent has like a sidebar, this
Yeah.
Perplexity Comment also has like a sidebar. And now
Mm,
the sidebar is where you can give the commands, and then you still have your browsing space where
mm,
you are browsing. Now let's take for example, you're on Twitter and you say, hey, can you summarize this page for me? What happens is that it takes over the page from you. So it scrolls up, it scrolls down, look at what's going on this page. It looks, open some tweets, read them up, and then summarize it for you, then give you a summary on the sidebar.
mm,
Now, also, it can also do other interesting things, like it can make a tweet for you. In some of the demos that I watch, it could make tweets. So someone just say, oh, can you help me make a tweet? It enters your tweet and it makes a tweet for you, right? So, which I did not think of this. I need to give credit to Gemini AI. So what I did today, I did something very interesting this morning. I took all our podcast notes and I gave it to Gemini and I told it to make a podcast out of it. And it made a very interesting podcast. It was very interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So
in
Comet
some of
is
the
a
works,
beginning of a browser war.
yes,
Um,
yes, which is
uh,
interesting because
yeah.
OpenAI just announced that they are coming up with their own browser also.
That makes sense.
Now, what does
I
that
mean,
mean for developers? Right? What it means for developers is that when you now build your
oh, I mean, this
products,
could
when you
be
now build your
this could be
websites,
game changing for software devs. I don't know whether they're going to open this up. Remember, sorry, I'm not intentionally doing this, but it's underlying. I mean, it's just underlying the fundamental importance of memory and context in this world, right?
yeah,
So having an AI browser like Comet, it's just not the sidebar. What's exciting? The exciting bit is that now this browser knows a lot of things about you. So when you
yeah,
switch between, there has always been this boundary, right? When you switch between product A to product B, from Slack to Gmail, from Gmail to your calendar, or YouTube, all this platform has a wall and boundaries, right? The
yeah,
data is not shared between them. But having an AI browser like Comet, I'm assuming now they have control over this. It knows that Precious is here, Precious was there.
yeah,
So imagine all the automation that it can do across multiple platforms. It's just going to be huge productivity gain. And if they
yeah,
down the line they expose that API that will access to developers, then now we can build web apps which can integrate with any product that's running on the browser. It's just crazy, which means
yeah.
every product.
Every product, yeah. It's just how for those that cannot maybe not
Yeah,
imagine it, you know how your Chrome extension knows almost everything about you.
yeah.
Your Chrome browser, because
And
you use it on your
extension
phone.
is still a friction point, right? This
Yeah,
removes that friction point. It's just baked in. I would love
yeah,
to, if we had resources like Perplexity, would have loved to build our own browser. Are
yeah,
you?
yeah.
This is based on Chromium, right? This is based on the
Yeah,
free version
it's
of
based.
Chrome.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah,
based off of that.
yeah,
I was looking at it and I was wondering, oh, maybe we should take this divergent to this platform and then
yeah,
have it
yeah,
also.
yeah.
Yeah,
It would be
maybe they should do
interesting to
like,
see how Google reacts to this elephant in the room.
yeah, yeah. We'll see how they do that because
I
everybody's
mean,
coming for them. I mean, browser is.
yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
it's it's a big
It's
industry.
going to go down to distribution then.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, one last thing before you go, it's the also how developers that are watching or listening to this podcast, how right now you are not just building for humans now, you're also building for AI because you now have to build your website in a way that AI can be able to go through it
that's true.
and understand what is going on, right? And be
Mm,
able to take
mm,
action on your website. So you need to put that into consideration when you are building the next landing page or the next product that you are building. So yeah, you
mm,
can thank me later.
mm, mm. Um, all right. So something now sort of from the open source world. So Kimi K2 is another benchmark open source agenting model released. I believe this is also from mainland China. Um, one 1 trillion parameters, and it has 30 to be active. So this is a mix of expertise models. So remember we talked about that architecture, multiple smaller LLM models sort of working together. I
Yeah.
think Mixtrail has this sort of pioneered this architecture. The interesting things
Okay.
about it, obviously, there are lots of open source models coming out. This one is little interesting in terms of its scoring amazing on all the benchmark boards. This is the top open source model, obviously, with all the weights are shared. So for research, and this is fine tuned. So it's licensed under MIT. I'm just quickly browsing through my notes in here. So it's licensed under MIT. So that means you're free to use, run it locally. This is very close to the closed source models we have like GPT-4 and Claude Ops. Okay, so finally we are seeing open source models sort of bridging the gap. Um, so this is exciting. So if you want to run something locally, you're afraid of sharing your data with this closed source providers and LLM model. This is something to check out. They also have this model is available in Hugging Face, obviously, so you can download and deploy it. But if you want to use their API, they also have an API exposed. The pricing seems to be very reasonable. So I haven't tried, but this is also again in my toolkit that I want to explore when I build my agents.
Yeah. So okay, you already dropped it. The Moonshots
Yeah,
AI.
here is a link to that. That should give you some details about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow another story very quickly, which is this is interesting, but not specifically directly to developer focus, but we all kind of generate content. So YouTube is sort of cracking down on AI generated slop content. So they define slop as a type of content which is sort of boring and repeated copy paste sort of content, right? So
Yeah.
there is this effort by lots of folks out there just randomly pushing out lots of quantity, hoping to monetize their content. So YouTube is sort of coming down at them right now. So they updated their policy. So any content that is mass produced or repetitive and not meets their originality standards, is not unique, it's not something that you created. It's going to be start to consider that as a spam.
Yeah. So I think
But
this is
one
very
thing I want to be very clear though, sorry, I want to be very clear though, they are not saying don't use AI to create a content. They are actually encouraging it, but just saying just hey, just be creative. It makes
yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah, it makes a lot of
Um,
sense. It's a lot of
yeah,
sense.
remember the YouTube has to balance. Obviously, on one hand, they need to lots of have content so that people come in. But if this
Yeah.
content is YouTube is flooded with lots of spam and stupid videos, then users will stop going there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's the reason why they had to make that hard decision. I feel like it's also not very easy for them because we're in the age of AI and everybody wants to. Though I was talking with a friend last week and I asked one question. I said, "When is it going to end? Everybody's creating content with AI. I mean, in the future, what's it going to look like? I mean, you go to YouTube, everybody's talking about AI. You go on. I mean, we might start seeing AI movies. I mean, View 3 is on steroid. They're doing a lot of things right now. They even released like 3 updates within the week. We didn't cover them in
Mm,
this story, of course. But yeah, so
mm,
it's getting better by the day. So how when is it going to end? Are we going to have actors in the future?
mm.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah, there's
I
going to
think
be
it's
lots
a
of noise for sure. I
yeah,
remember our friend was talking about this last Friday in our stand-up call, right? Our demo call. The
yeah,
workflow that some of the creator uses using AI tool is fascinating. Maybe we should just do
yeah,
a dedicated podcast on that. Like
yeah.
it's from sourcing to content production. The workflow that some of the tools, some of the folks uses is fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. A friend of mine who works as a marketer for a company in the UK, she works
Yeah,
from Nigeria here. So I went to see her and she was telling me how she uses anything to do this marketing thing. So from,
yeah,
searching for clients
mm,
on LinkedIn to
mm,
sending them
yeah,
cold emails. So she sort
yeah.
of like trained this particular agent on what
Mm,
he needs to do, and then he just goes on to do them for her. So she doesn't bother herself doing a lot of stuff, which makes her job easier. And then she in turn sells these automations to other people to serve
mm,
their clients also.
mm.
So yeah,
The interesting bit about this is that everybody copy pastes the same workflow. What's going to make your content different, right? I mean, that's something that um, you sort of have to address. So if you all get the same content from same source and we all use the same AI to create videos, I mean, going back to the YouTube's thing, originality is sort of gone. It's a mass production. So
yeah, I
there is a
think
balance between
also
mass production and sort of creativity.
Yeah, I think also the storytelling, because of making those videos is also an act of storytelling. So how do you tell the story? So the
Mm,
story of someone like Zeus or the story of Jesus has been told like 1,000 times, but some
mm,
people also find a way to tell it in different ways,
mm.
right? So there is this for those that are
Oh, I saw
Christian.
some fascinating videos around that.
Yeah, yeah.
Using
So
videos. Those are
yeah,
cool. I
it's
mean,
been
I like that. That's
yeah.
stuff.
I enjoyed
I know
watching
there
it.
is a huge viral trend going on TikTok around this too. But all of those videos are crazy, wild, but they have story. They have
They have
the
story.
creator
Yeah,
have
they are
thought through the
unique in their own
process.
ways. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
unique in their own ways, which is what
yeah,
I
yeah,
think YouTube wants. All right.
yeah.
So the next story I have here is Windsurf. So I think 3 episodes ago we came on this podcast and we announced that Windsurf has been acquired by OpenAI. But
Mm.
yes, on Friday nights I opened my Twitter and I saw that they are now going to Google. it's really interesting because you know
Because the
how.
offer expired. I think uh, 11th July the offer expired from OpenAI. I think someone didn't sign the dotted lines essentially.
Oh, so I
The
also
the
think
whole
it's,
whole contract fell through.
yeah, they are going to Google for cheaper amount. I think it's less. I think it's about 27. OpenAI was offering like 30 something million, something
3
like that.
billion.
3 billion, yeah. They are going for 2 point something billion, yeah, something like
Hmm.
that. Yeah. So I also think it's some. I think Microsoft had invested or something like that. I think there's also a case. I didn't get the details, but there was also a case of proprietary.
So this is I debated
Yeah,
this a lot. I thought through this story a little bit, and I talked to a bunch of people because I encourage people to work with startups, right? I mean, I
yeah,
work with startups, and I'm doing startups, and there is a amount of risk you take working in startups. You get equity. I'm taking the side of employees here. Being a
yeah,
founder, I understand that it's a business, right? I mean, that deal fell through. The founder wanted to get a better. I'm sure they got a better exit or strategy. I don't know why they decided.
yeah,
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to paint the both sides of this. So obviously, I'm looking at your notes here, and that's what I read too. That they got this is all so confusing. They didn't buy the company, right? They just got
yes, they didn't.
uh, non-exclusive license. So they got the founder non-exclusive license of OwnServe. That means Gemini is probably trying to build some sort of cursor competitor. That's fine. But the rest of the Windsurf team, which is apparently 250 people, stays independent.
Which is interesting.
So that to me, it feels like wait, that means they didn't get the money from Google, right? They didn't get the exit amount, so they're going to be continue to offer this coding tool. I
Yeah,
don't know. That feels
but
weird to me.
it's I don't know. The AI wave, it has come with a lot of. It feels like transfer window in games in sports, where different clubs are buying and exchanging, and then they are saying we don't want this again. We want this particular player because when I saw this news, I was like, what's going on here? Why did we go from that to this? So, and then going into the details, I was a little bit confused because you are
Yeah.
buying them for this
So I
amount,
mean,
but not
so
buying
yeah,
them.
from the employee side, you would say, okay, holy shit, I was hoping to get this $3 billion exit. That means I have some equity. I'm going to make some good money, right? I'm being very
Yeah,
honest, right? I mean, this is one of the benefits of taking risk and joining startups.
yeah,
Now that is not happening. I'm left with this company. I don't know. Maybe I wish all the best to the Windsurf team. They have an amazing tool. I'm sure they have a better future coming along for them.
yeah. They do, they do. All right. So, I think you're up next.
Oh, I'm okay. Cool. So I'm gonna talk about Stack Overflow a little bit. Now, Stack Overflow once upon a time used to be like the go-to hub for developers.
Yeah,
My workflow used to be I got a problem, I will put the problem, copy the error to Google. Um, that feels like so weird now if you think about that workflow. My workflow used to be I'll get an error, I'll copy the error to Google. Most likely the first three search result, one of them going to be Stack Overflow. That's what you hope for. You
yeah,
go to the Stack Overflow, somebody also face that problem, you look for if there's a verified answer, you copy the answer and hope that works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't, but it
yeah,
tremendously benefited people, right? For them. Uh, but over the last 24 months, maybe the decline of this platform is just crazy. I mean, they're back to their their monthly usage, the new questions that which is sort of the metrics, very important metrics for engagement, right? How many people are coming and asking new question, that
yeah,
completely collapsed. It's went back to that 2009 when they released that kind of traffic. So I mean, I think it's kind of dimming the light essentially. um, and which always wonders me that there are a couple of reasons for that. I think, I mean, even if you don't take chat gpt as a killer for this, I mean, over the years the platform became really difficult for newbies, right? I mean, lots of questions,
yeah,
they had a really strict moderation. uh, sometimes you're afraid to ask questions because some folks, there's most likely for someone will say that's stupid. Why are you asking this, right? It kind of discouraged people to ask questions, especially newbies. But
Yeah.
now if you go to chat gpt never judges you. And we talked about this before. Remember the adoption of AI, how it's
Yeah.
helping interns to be more open, ask questions, and learn faster because they are not afraid of judgment anymore.
Yeah.
But there was lots of judgment on Stack Overflow. Hey, why are you asking this stupid question? Some smart guy will tell you that, or this person. But anyway, so
So
there was a
also
ownership
great.
change.
Yeah, yeah, go on when you're
No,
done.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. I mean, Reddit is doing well right now. Most companies are trying to build their community on Reddit, right? So I'm just trying to think through from the founder's perspective or those building it, right? The guys running Stack Overflow. Maybe they should pivot to like a community styled stuff where maybe they try to get companies to come and, host their open source project or something like that.
I don't know.
Because
They have to figure out a pivot for sure.
yeah,
Which gives me one thing that sort of bothers me and would have bothered me if I was part of the Stack Overflow team is that, dude, they used to open source their data, which was pretty amazing back in day.
yeah, and then
They will share and share. OpenAI took that data, build the model, learned on it, and essentially build a better Stack Overflow.
so because if people stop asking questions on that platform, right,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
will the our AIs get better in the future? Are we going to stop with the level of knowledge that we have right now because human beings are not running into new problems and they are not creating
I mean, it will
they're
get
not
better for
asking new
this.
questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're asking questions. You're
Yeah,
not asking question in Stack Overflow anymore. You're asking question in Chat GPT now, or some other tool, Claude or Claude Code, whatever other tool. That's the data
yeah.
for them. They are using that data.
Oh,
And
I
when it's
see.
replying back, you're saying no, that's incorrect, that right. That's a feedback cycle. So it's going to get that data continuously. That's not a problem. The problem is that the authenticity sometimes, like multiple people going to be asking same questions, which is right, which is wrong. In the benefit,
Yeah,
man, a couple of things Stack Overflow got really right. I mean, there is a value of moderation. Don't get me wrong. There's a tremendous value of moderation because that allows you to bubble up high quality answers to the top. Because that builds trust, right? That's why Stack Overflow becomes so popular. Stack Overflow was not the only Q&A platform. There was many out there. But the problem was that you were not sure whether this answer is the right answer. With Stack Overflow voting system and moderation, you're sort of like, oh, if this answer is selected, I'm pretty confident that this will work for me.
oh,
So it built the trust. Their mechanics was really good. It just gone overboard a little bit. We have the challenge with the curation with now, because now, since if the Stack Overflow is out, which sounds like the way their traffic numbers are doing, they're struggling.
yeah.
We're gonna have an issue. What's right? What's wrong?
Okay. Let's see how they. I'm interested. I want to see how they navigate this issue because it's really an
Yeah, it
interesting
will be
one.
very. It will be amazing pivot and amazing story,
Yeah,
guys. If you guys can figure it out, what to do
yeah,
about this. It'll be. I mean,
yeah,
I would have thought Stack Overflow would build an AI coding tool. If they could have
yeah.
jumped on the ship earlier, they had all this data. They could have
They
easily
could have.
provide the context and feedback, right?
Yeah, they could have.
Time,
I mean,
timing is everything.
yeah. It just feels like BlackBerry, Nokia. Back
Yeah,
in the days, thing happening to
yeah.
them right now. I mean, they should have.
They
I
did
feel sorry
something
for them.
also. Yeah, they did something based on what you said about Reddit. I want to go back to that. I think you said something very powerful. On the other hand, Reddits are doing really good, subreddits. And I think
Yeah.
what developers are going in is, I think this micro communities are becoming more popular. Telegram, Discord. I mean,
Yes.
their
Yes.
developers are
Yes.
still hanging out. They're not hanging out on Stack Overflow anymore.
Yeah. So I think what they lack is that community sense. If they can hire me, a good community
Yeah.
manager, right, to sort of like figure a way to add like very good community sense into what they are doing,
Yeah.
because everybody's going on Reddit right now, and I speak with community managers and some marketers. Everybody wants to be on Reddit. Some of them are creating their own subreddits and running it by themselves, so that,
Mm.
because that way they tend to control informations about their company that goes out there, and then LLMs pick up Reddit more than they discover their own company blog, right? So they write articles, they put it on Reddit, because these LLMs just feel like, oh, this is human opinions and conversations here, and they
Yeah.
pick it up easily. So they use that to also train the LLMs on
And
information
I
about
don't
their
know.
company.
There was a stop on Reddit. I don't know where that deal went. Uh, Now Reddit might be asking the same question. We are generating all this data. I'm sure this models index Reddit data because I
Yeah.
have seen multiple times OpenAI, ChatGPT refers me to edit Reddit posts
Yes. A
when I
lot
ask
of time.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I think they have an enterprise level contract. I think Reddit is making money for by sharing data. I
Yeah.
think there was a few months back there was a conflict. Some users got really pissed. Why are you selling our data? But as a company, you
Uh-huh.
have to figure out a strategy, right? To
Yeah. Yeah. To keep be in the loop, keep the lights on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
All right. I think we are way past time. This is almost
yeah,
40
yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have one more story, but maybe I
So
can keep
so
it for
many. Yeah,
next
go
week.
ahead. Go. Do your story. Do your
I'll keep
story.
Okay, so I think that's a story about Google DeepMind. So they released this open source library. It's a Python
Mm,
library. It is used for building asynchronous composable AI pipelines. So
nice.
it just simplifies the way you build Gen AI applications. For example, you can easily build a live agent that uses in camera, microphone input, calls, and live and all those things. And all you have to do is just to do pip install this particular model, this particular library. So it reduces. It's like a boilerplate. It helps you to not go on to start doing a lot of things by yourself.
Mm,
The most important thing here is structure. Is structure your workflows. Structure.
yeah.
It brings everything together and kind of like give a structure to your development process. So yeah, that's what it is about. I'm going to drop the link because I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you want to read more about it. I can't go into a lot of details because of time. So, but yeah, check out the link in the comment section if you want to know more about it. So they call this API, they call this library, they call it what did they call it again?
So
Can't find
there
it.
is there is a distinction that we should clarify here, which is I think is interesting. Which is I think the library that you're sharing here is a very powerful, but it allows you to build sort of workflows. And lots of time people get confused about this. That what's the difference between building AI agent and AI workflows,
We should do an episode on
right?
this.
Yeah, yeah, we should. We should. So just a quick one in here. This library is perfect for workflow. Workflow means that you exactly know how to solve your problem. So this step one, step two, step three, then it will go step four. If step four fails, we go step five. You have a clear idea how the execution plan gonna look like. Whereas on the agentic based solutions, you don't know. You The main central point of that is that you ask the model to tell me which is the next step I should take. So that's more fluid. That makes it more agent. That's sort of a good way. I think this is not my definition. I was I was reading a paper by Claude guys about how they distinguish. It sort of makes sense to me. I know
Yeah.
lots of people say everything is an AI agent, but everything is not an AI agent. So you have to ask
Yeah,
question.
because
This is the workflow.
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
N8N says their AI workflow. They don't say they're building agents because that's a specific steps.
So but people that use anything, they call what
They
they
say they're
built.
building agents.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
actually not. But
if you can remember some of the conversations we've had, and then people are saying it's agent, but then it's not agent because these are
right,
workflows.
right,
But
right.
yeah, you can't say it's not. They are the ones that
Yeah,
built it.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally.
right.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, that was a good one. So guys, I
Yeah.
can see about 15 people join us live today. Thank you very much for joining. If you have anything you want to share with us, if you drop us a comment on YouTube, we are going to see your name and we'll be able to, give you a shout out. If you drop the comment on Twitter, we will also see it and we really appreciate if you drop us a comment. Thank you very much for joining us. Next week, we are going to be here, same time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like. We'll be here next week for another episode and we'll bring to you away all the interesting things happening in AI space. All right. So, thank you very much for joining us today. Bye bye and enjoy the rest of your